What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me at HumaCon today, walking around. I'm seeing a lot of good costumes. Some better than others, but there are a lot of really good ones. You can tell some people put a lot of thought and effort into the costume that they wore. There's a lot of off the shelf stuff, but there's a lot of really original stuff. They're dressing up as a character that they may like, but I mean, people was breaking out the sewing machine to get some of these costumes going. This ain't no Party City stuff. But hey, look, man, shout out to y'all, my subscribers, new and old. I thank y'all for joining along on the ride to 5,000. And yeah, back to these costumes. I'm seeing a lot of dudes dressing up like women. I see that's a thing that's a lot bigger than it was before. You got guys feeling a lot more free with wearing chick costumes. I've seen guys dressed as Harley Quinn. So, that's where we at, man. That's what the world is now. But man, let's get into this topic, and it's about passport sisters. I touched on the passport sisters recently, and I was saying how you got black women that are going over to these Asian countries looking for love, and they're having a bit of a hard time. They're not. Oh my God, what are they doing? What are they doing? HumaCon 2024, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if they about to race back or what, but that was pretty amusing. Ain't gonna hold you up. Hey, listen, it's a fun event. It's not as fun of an event for me as it once was. I think this year is a bit underwhelming compared to previous years, but that's largely because the things that I like to do, they're not here happening. I think the sign, there we go. Remember I was saying that the People Mover was on pause? It is. But let me get back to this topic, y'all. Sorry about that little distraction. Just had to show y'all that because it was pretty funny. But we had the passport sisters. We had black women going over to these Asian countries trying to find love. They was not faring very well, okay? They was having a really hard time. Things were not going well. Well, I've seen some stories now of passport sisters going over to Africa. All right, we going to a different place, and they getting the same results. So, passport sisters over there, they in the motherland, and they doing that mouthing off to African men, and they finding that stuff is not flying over there. You got a lot of black women that are used to, speaking freely and never knowing when to shut up, never knowing when to quit while they're ahead. And they're taking those bad habits over to Africa, and it's not flying over there. The thing is this here. In these various different countries, they don't play the same stuff that we play here. All right, in these various different countries, they don't like what we doing over here. They think we're a joke, and they're not trying to adopt any of our bad habits. And especially when it comes to the women not knowing their place. You got African men, they are not used to these women mouthing off. That whole disrespectful stuff that black women tend to do here, talking to the men any type of way. These dudes over in Africa, they've never experienced that. They are not used to that. Their women do not do all that mouthing off. They may get to talking to other women reckless, but they do not talk to the men reckless. And the reason why that is because they don't have anything to support them. All that strong and independent feminism nonsense, they don't play that stuff over there. They have no support system for that. So they have nothing backing them up. They have no resources behind them when it comes to that sort of stuff. In fact, you over there, you know, when you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do, right? That may be a little cliche, but it's true. When you go somewhere else, and you guys, I mentioned Dubai before, when you in these various different places, they don't care about what you're used to in America. You came here. You stay your ass in America if you want to move a certain way. Don't come here with that bullshit. So you gonna come here, you gonna adhere to our ways, adhere to our customs, adhere to our laws, and that's just gonna be that. If you can't do that, stay where you was at. In fact, we'll send you back now. We'll just get you together and send you back now, and we'll throw your stuff away. We ain't gonna send it back. We're just gonna throw your stuff away. So, you know, I've said this before, the feminist stuff, it only exists in places like here in America because the men allow it. You know, the feminist stuff, it does not exist over in Africa. It does not exist over in these Latin countries. And that's because women are simply too weak to make it happen. Feminism doesn't exist if men don't allow it. The reason why feminism is such a big thing here is because you have men backing it up. You have men supporting it because women are too weak to fight for something on their own. If men decided right now, and this isn't me advocating for violence or anything like that. I'm just saying, if men decided collectively, just for whatever reason, feminism is dead. We are going to subjugate women, and that's just going to be that. There wouldn't be nothing that women can do to stop it. You're too weak. Most of them are terrible at using a firearm or wielding a weapon, have no sense of self-defense, no combat sport, experience, just nothing like that. They're just waiting to be dominated. So over there in these other places where they're just used to the women knowing their place and not mouthing off to them and whatnot, they're not gonna put up with that stuff. So that's what's happening. You got passport sisters going over here to Africa, okay, and they're trying it. They think they're gonna go over there and talk to the men over there, because see, they just see a black man. They're used to being here in the U.S. and talking to black men any type of way. So they go over there and they take those bad habits because they just see a black man. They don't realize, okay, this is a black man, but this is a different type of black man. We're on a different continent. You can't come over here and do that same stuff that flies over there. So, I don't even know why they even thought this would be a thing to attempt to go over to Africa of all places and pull this sort of nonsense. Like, really, if you go over there with that sort of stuff, just to give you an example of some of the things that I've seen, if you're a woman and you over there in Africa acting like this, understand you a long way from home and something might happen to you over there. I'm just saying, something may happen to you over there, and when something happens to you over there, you're not going to get a whole lot of sympathy from the justice system there because it's largely ran by men, and you're a foreign woman coming over here bringing your bad habits that they don't appreciate. So understand where you're at, have some self-awareness, behave yourself. It's just insane to me how some people, they really do think that they can go anywhere in the world and that place is supposed to just morph and conform to how they're used to living back where they come from. But I'm not surprised that I came across this. I really wasn't surprised about the women going over to Asian countries and striking out, because from what I've seen, Asian men really aren't that into sisters. From what I've observed, some it's about that they just don't like black folks, period, and some is just they may not be discriminatory towards black folks, but they just don't tend to find black women very desirable. And then you go over to Africa, the people look like you, but they don't find you desirable either, and it's for a whole different reason. They don't find you desirable because you don't know how to shut up. They don't find you desirable because you're too masculine acting. They don't find you desirable because you have the audacity to be disrespectful to a man. I mean, it just is what it is. Many of these places you wouldn't be able to get away with this in these Latin areas. You certainly wouldn't be able to get away with this in areas in the Middle East. It's just places that allow feminism are only where you see this sort of behavior out of the women. You do not. You absolutely, in an area where a woman opens her mouth and starts shooting some BS, and it's possible for her to be backslapped for it, totally different. Now, again, I'm not advocating for violence against anybody. I'm just saying, like, you know, they only behave like this because they can get away with it. That is it. They have no fear of consequences. They have no fear of retaliation. They're not fearful of being disrespectful to a man. And men are dangerous. Men are dangerous. There's a reason why when men deal with other men, there's a level of respect that men hold when dealing with one another. Even if the men may not care for each other, there's a level of respect that they hold, and they don't drop below it, because if they do, there's going to be some sort of physical confrontation, and one is going to get hurt, both are going to get hurt, but somebody's going to get hurt. Women don't fear that because they're so used to being sheltered from the consequences of mouthing off to a man. As I've said to y'all before, women will be more disrespectful to a man than they will another woman. And a man is more dangerous than a woman. But they're so used to having these things in place to protect them from what they do. But they know that those things aren't in place when it comes to dealing with another woman. They know that if they spout off being disrespectful to another woman the same way they do a man, they're going to have to fight her ass. And they don't want to do that. So in a lot of ways, it's kind of cowardly, because you pick and choose. If you're going to be that disrespectful, bitch, why can't you be that across the board? Why do you simply choose to target the group that you have some forms of protection from? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate y'all connecting with me. Oh, I got the sign back there to say HumanCon 2024. I wanted to get a picture of that earlier, but it wasn't cycling, so I didn't even think that they had. I usually take a picture of that when I come over here. It changes, the design of it changes every year, of course. But all right, y'all, I'm getting out of here, man. I got to get me something to eat. I think I want some Chipotle or something. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.